What's up, Aztec fans? Today we're going to look at Jeremy Hemsley's junior season, and I'm going to show you why Jeremy should be the one running the offense during this coming season. Last season, Jeremy Hemsley was one of the team's better on-ball defenders, and he was about average everywhere else on the defensive side of the ball. I've put together some clips to show what type of impact he can have on the less glamorous end. Offensively, Jeremy had a pretty bad season. That being said, I believe fixing the issues should be pretty simple. Jeremy is at his best when he's attacking the basket, and he was one of the better scorers out of the pick and roll in all of college basketball. One thing that makes Jeremy so effective out of the pick and roll is that he can finish with either hand. He's also very quick and is able to shift his defenders one way before exploding in the other direction to get to the basket. Jeremy's quickness, his size, and his ability to finish with either hand allow him to finish plays that Devin Watson would struggle with. At this point, I'm sure some of you are thinking, this is all great, but we need a facilitator, not just someone who can score. But as it turns out, Jeremy is also a better and more willing passer than Devin Watson is as well. Jeremy's size allows him to make passes that a smaller player might struggle with, as here he fires a pass over the top of the defense to Jalen McDaniels. In this clip, all of the attention is on Jeremy's drive, and he's able to kick it out to the open man. The ability to finish inside as well as hit the shooter out on the perimeter is what makes Jeremy so dangerous with the ball in his hands. Lastly, Jeremy was awful shooting the ball this past season, shooting below 27%. Overall, his jump shot isn't something I'm too worried about. Despite last year's struggles, Jeremy still has a career three-point shooting percentage of almost 35%. I believe that playing off ball so much more than he had in previous seasons took him a little bit out of his game and made his shots stop falling. The easiest way to correct this problem is to put Jeremy on the ball and let him kick out after he drives to other players on the roster who can shoot. And if during that process Jeremy manages to find his stroke again, then everybody wins. Getting Jeremy more comfortable next season will be a big factor in how far the Aztecs go next season. I put together this chart to show the relationship between how often Jeremy runs the offense versus how good his offense actually is. You can see in his freshman season, he ran the pick and roll more than twice as much as he spotted up along the perimeter, and his offensive numbers were much better. Compare that to his junior year, and the numbers were almost reversed, where now he's spotting up almost twice as much as he was running the pick and roll. As a result, his numbers his junior year were much worse. Giving Jeremy the keys to the offense puts him in a position to succeed. And for those of you that have watched my Devin Watson video, you've seen how good of a shooter he is, and I would much rather have Devin spotting up along the perimeter than Jeremy, at least until Jeremy shows he can shoot the ball better this coming season. As a side note, I also believe there were some off-the-court issues happening with Jeremy and possibly with other players this past season. But as that's not something I can show through tape or numbers, I've elected to not talk about it too much. That being said, I do expect Jeremy to have a bounce-back season during his senior year. That does it for this one, Aztec fans. I'll catch you next time.